started, guys. So the Thermomix, I want to ask you very first question. What's brought you here today? What is it that you're hoping to see or learn? Feel free to pop that in there, because for your consultants to know what it is that you are wanting to find out with the Thermomix. We're going to do 2 dishes today, and that is a very handy quick salad, the famous coleslaw, and we're also going to do one of my absolute favorites, which is a creamy salami and fettuccine dish. Fantastic main meal, and these 2 dishes are going to be done in under an hour, and the fact is that you are hands-free and you get to do something else while the Thermomix is doing the cooking for you. So I'll take you through some of the features and the functions of the Thermomix as we go. The price of the Thermomix, I'm going to get Sandy to just share a screen and go through just very quickly a couple of things before we get started with the cooking.
See that one? So all-inclusive offer of $2,269, but I always with and our best offer is come on board, learn about your Thermomix, earn and learn your Thermomix, which is the smartest way to get to use the Thermomix and maximise the use of that wonderful investment of $2,269. But we always have wait. There's more with Thermomix. It's one of the things which it just keeps us on the edge of our seat as always. We have a limited time offer at the moment, and how very, very appropriate is the Eat Well at Home limited time offer that we have. So purchase a Thermomix between the 13th of March and the 14th of April, and you receive the fabulous 2.6 litre thermoserver, which you're going to see Helen use today, and also our Eat Well cookbook, which has certainly been one of our most popular cookbooks. So Helen, do you want me to share our next little teaser, or should we keep that up our sleeve?
Oh, we can definitely keep it up our sleeves for later on. I think it's part of the whole payment options for those of you that might be interested. We'll go into that a bit later when we're cooking, shall we?
Yeah.
I feel like it's really important, you guys, know all of the information right from the word go before we get started. And as Sandy said, it does include the roma and the simmering basket, pretty much everything you need. So we're not using these today, but if there's something that you'd really like to see, make sure that you reach out to your consultant. Maybe they can do a one-on-one or a smaller group virtual cooking experience, so that they can maybe show you the roma in action. All right, let's get started. I am going to show you with our smart connected kitchen appliance here, our Thermomix, how you can get really easy access to thousands and thousands of recipes worldwide right here on your screen. And I'm going to show you a couple of different modes today. With the Thermomix, we have manual mode, we have guided mode, and function. So manual cooking, guided cooking, and then we have our modes, which I'll go into in just a moment. The Thermomix is telling me it's been inactive for far too long and it's about to shut down. It's okay, we're about to make you active. So let's get started. We've got a timer, a temperature, and a speed. I'm going to do the coleslaw on the manual cooking. Who here is a creative cook, cooks from their own creativity or from their own creative flair, chuck-in cooks? Who are they? And who are those that like to follow a recipe? And then we've got those in between, like me, who are in between tweakers. They like to have a recipe, but they very often will just tweak and do their own thing as they go. That's me. I'm totally guilty in the between. So let your consultants know whereabouts you are. The manual cooking is great, and this is why I'm showing you this, because it means you don't have to always follow a recipe. If you've got a recipe that you know inside out, then you can just use the manual cooking, which is what I'm going to do right now. So timer, temperature, speed. This is a really easy, quick recipe because you're actually throwing all the ingredients in the first hit. So it's a 2-step process to this. We've got our red onion. You can put as much or as little as you want. I've got 1 carrot, and the carrot is cut up into small chunks. I've got 1 green apple that I've put a little bit of lemon juice on there to stop it from browning and also add nice flavour into your coleslaw. You can take the pips out, but you don't have to. They've got high levels of zinc in them. Yes, I know they have a little bit of arsenic in there too, but you do need to eat like loads of apples per day for that to bother you. In very, very small doses, it's totally fine, but you can core it if you want to as well. And then I've actually got a mixture of red cabbage and green cabbage, about 200 grams in total of those cabbages. Okay, That's just to add a little bit of colour. Then what I've got here is a bit of salt and pepper, and that's going straight in there.
Hello, Kendra.
And I've got some mayonnaise.
Okay, I'll go there. Hello, I'm here.
Oh, sorry guys, that's a bit of interference. If you don't mind being on mute, that would be wonderful. But I love your excitement. Hello and welcome. So this is some mayonnaise. You can make your own mayonnaise at home. So I know things are getting a little bit crazy. Some things are a bit difficult to find at the shops. The beautiful thing about Thermomix is that you can make the basics from scratch at home with really, really simple ingredients. So speak to your consultant about the mayo. If they've got a business page, they may already have some links to some videos. I know on my page, I've got a Hanging with Helen page, Facebook page, and I have a live video on how you can make your own mayonnaise there. So you can feel free to go check that out. I am going to pop in about 2 tablespoons of the mayo. If you don't want to use mayo, you might like to just put some olive oil, some lemon juice, and the salt and pepper, and that can be your dressing. Even simpler, right? That is all my ingredients. I'm going to pop the lid on. I'm taking my measuring cup off because this happens within a blink of an eye. And I'm going to use my spatula to help assist in stirring it up if it needs it. Now this, when I say a blink of an eye, it takes 2 to 3 seconds. So when you're very new, you might want to pop a time of 2 to 3 seconds on there. Because I know my Thermomix really well, I very rarely put the time in. I'll just start it and I'll watch it will count upwards. We're not using any heat, so I don't need to put any heat onto it or apply any heat. And I'm going to go to speed 4. Now, you may see me pop it up to speed 5 for a split second if I see the Thermomix needs it. And the way I know is that it might start to shake a little bit, and that's because the carrots sometimes haven't got enough speed to fully chop. So it just depends how big your carrots were when you pop them in there, if that happens. But I'm just kind of explaining what you're going to see because I won't be able to talk while I'm doing it. All right, let's go. Speed 4. All right, that was the 3 seconds, but I just want to show you where we're at 3 seconds. It's not quite ready, so I'm going to have to do it just probably for another 3 seconds. I'm just going to show you. See how we've got it chopped, but it's pretty chunky there. And I like my salad to be a little bit finer than that. So I'm going to go up to speed 4 again. Oops, I'm not going to put a time on this time. I'm just going to go with the flow. Done. So that was another 3 seconds. And this is pretty much exactly how I want it. Look at that. That is my coleslaw done. And I'm going to try and put it in a position where you guys can see that that is a nice chunky. And again, remembering if you like it really fine, then you could have gone for another couple of seconds. We're talking seconds here. Never leave it for more than a couple of seconds at a time, because you will find you'll be drinking it out of a cup rather than eating it with a spoon, which is okay. That's a really nice juice, I guess, for the day. I wonder if there's anybody out there that's done that before, where they've accidentally gone a little bit too far. All right, I'm going to get my handy assistant, who's my daughter, who has recently just become a Thermomix consultant, much to my surprise. She's going to wash that for me so that I've got the spatula ready for the next bit. Who liked that? Who thought that was a wow, that you've got a beautiful, amazing coleslaw done in literally seconds? You know, when I first got my Thermomix, I was so impressed with this particular function. Every time there was a barbecue, that would be my, oh, I'll bring the salad, because I knew it was going to take me only, you know, a minute to make. All right, next dish, where we're going straight into our main dish. What maybe you'd like to pop in the comments with your consultants, what other salads that you would like to make in the Thermomix, or what other salads for those who are owners you have made in your Thermomix, to give a bit of inspiration to the others on here. Thank you very much, my gorgeous Celeste. All right, So now I'm going to show you, I've actually already plunged these recipes into the Thermomix, into my weekly planner, and Sandy's going to go through how you can do that while we're actually cooking. But when you swipe to the, to the right, trying to work out my left from my right, you've got access to your Cookidoo platform, which is your recipe library. And here's where you can search for recipes, and you can find your recipes and add them to your database right on the screen if you don't want to do it on your phone or on your computer. Now, I've already found these recipes. When you swipe to the other side, you've got your modes, and I'll go through them in just a moment. Let's get our recipe going first. So I'm going to go to my week because I've already put them into cooking them today. So it's showing me cook today. I've got coleslaw and I've got my creamy tomato and salami fettuccine. So I'm going to tap on that because I'm now going to show you guided cooking, which is like a GPS in the kitchen. It's going to take you from the start of your journey to the end of your journey, and it will get you there safely every time. So okay, all right. So basically when it comes up, it's got, when you slide down, all of the ingredients, the preparation, and it's got some hints and tips, nutritional information, everything you want on the screen. The other thing that it does, it tells you prep time, cooking time. If I already had Parmesan cheese grated, I might want to skip that step, and I could actually just press the 2 and go straight to that step if I wanted to, rather than clicking through to get to the step that I wanted. But I haven't. I'm going to show you grating today. So we're going to go start cooking, and it's telling me it engages our fabulous scales. The Thermomix has scales, which are the feet of your machine, and it weighs in 1 gram increments. So it's super duper precise. And that particular feature I love the most because it's the thing that cuts the most time out of cooking, especially baking. So if you're a baker, you'll understand measuring things is quite important, and getting precise measurements can be important. But it takes a lot of time to measure things, whereas I can measure straight into my bowl. And I'll show you a little bit of that there. So I'm going to tear that. We want 50 to 100 grams of Parmesan cheese, just cut up into cubes, because we're going to grate that up in our Thermomix. Another fantastic function of the Thermomix is milling your cheese and grating cheeses. So we're going to press next, and it's going to tell us to insert the measuring cup, which we've done, and it's already got 10 seconds on there, and it's telling me to turn the speed selector to speed 9. So for 10 seconds, this is going to grate Parmesan cheese. What other things, while we're doing 10 seconds, can you grate or you buy already milled or grated? Maybe have a chat about that for the next 10 seconds. I'll just wait till it's finished. When you can't hear the sound of the Thermomix, it's generally done. And that gives you a really good indication of, when things are ready. So that's our Parmesan cheese done. The beautiful thing about this measuring cup is I don't have to hold it. It kind of just clicks into place here. It doesn't seal. It still allows air and steam to escape, but it also quietens the sound of the Thermomix by 5 decibels. It's absolutely awesome. That is my grated Parmesan cheese. How amazing is that? I don't have to buy cheese pre-grated and have the smelly effect that comes from cheese that's been pre-grated from a long time ago. It smells fresh. I wish we had smellogram here so that you could smell this, but it is beautiful. Now I'm just going to get as much of that out. It is actually going to tell me to do that, transfer into a bowl. But because I've done this recipe so many times, I'm predicting what the next steps are. So we're going to just take out as much of that as we can into a bowl and transfer aside. Most of that's out, you can see. The thing about also milling and grating your own ingredients is that it's going to save you a lot of money. Having a Thermomix in your kitchen is going to conservatively save you $20 to $50 a week. And if you're wanting to find out more about, the savings, what exactly would add up to 20 to 50, speak to your consultants, because they can give you more accurate and specific examples of how you can save money by making things from scratch. But if you just think almond meal, rice flour, you know, all of those things that when you buy them pre-milled, they cost a lot of money. So we've transferred over. It says to clean and dry a mixing bowl. I am notorious for skipping some steps because I've done this before and I know I've gotten as much of that out as I can. So I'm quite confident we're all good there. We want to pop in here. This is the thermoserver, the amazing thermoserver Sandy was saying before, that until the 14th of April comes as a gift with purchase, along with the Eat Well cookbook, which is a fantastic cookbook. All of our cookbooks are loaded onto the Cookidoo platform as well, but I am a bit of a cookbook hoarder. I love cookbooks. They've got amazing information in the beginning of the books. But this thermoserver will keep your food hot for 2 hours, and it keeps food cold. Say you're partying and you need ice in there or a sorbet, it will keep food cold as well. So I want an onion. So that's going to go in there, half a brown onion. I also want a garlic clove in there. And it says to add parsley. Now, I didn't have parsley today, but I do have beautiful fresh basil that I do grow myself. And I love basil in a pasta sauce anyway, so I'm just mixing it up. Now, this is also the beauty. The Thermomix is there to complement your cooking. It's not there to take over everything you do. You use it for what you need. I use it day in, day out, sometimes 3 times a day, sometimes 2, sometimes way more than that. But what I found is that even though you're using guided steps, you are still in control. So I can still change 1 or 2 ingredients if I want to. So we've got our sprigs of, our basil leaves. We're going to pop in our, I don't know how I ended up with 2 measuring cups there. We're going to pop on our lid. And it's got 3 seconds because we now want to chop onion, garlic and herbs all together. Nice chop on speed 7. Speed 7 gives it a finer chop, but you can go on speed 5 if you want it to be a bit more. See how you can hear? Don't know if you could hear that within a second it was done. Can you imagine how much time you will save and tears if you don't breathe that in, which I did last time and cried. I'm going to try not to do that today. But it's 1 second or 2 seconds of your time and you've got chopped onion. That is a game changer right there, a life changer in fact. So without me breathing that in, I'm going to just show you how it's chopped all of those ingredients together. Please keep in mind, guys, when you are using your spatula in here, always go clockwise because that's working on the blunt side of the blades. Our blades have a sharp side and a blunt side. So next, we've scraped down. We're going to add now some red capsicum. And we'll pop that in there. And we're going to add in 100 grams of zucchini, which is also just chopped into chunks, big chunks. All right, let me pop that to the side so I can clear my space a little bit. And now we're going to pop on our measuring cup again. The reason we did the onion and the garlic first was because we really need that to be a little bit finer than the rest of the ingredients. This is going to become a sauce though that's pureed, so it doesn't really matter hugely how big your pieces are. All right, it's got 3 seconds again and we're going to go on to speed 5 because remember, depending on what speed you go on, the higher the speed, the finer the chop. And that's how you can kind of convert your own recipes. Speed 10 is milling to powder, and speed 1 is a soft stir. And anywhere in between that is going to be varied chops. All right, 3 seconds done again. We've chopped our zucchini. Now, if you wanted to add different veggies to your sauce, you could add some mushroom. What other things might you add to your sauce? I'll show you what we've done here. Again, chopped beautifully. And we'll pop that back on. It's telling us to scrape. Now it wants 30 to 50 grams of olive oil. So I've already got my scales engaged there. I'm going to put 50 because I love olive oil and my family loves olive oil. In fact, this olive oil comes from Greece, from my dad's village. He picked the olives himself and pressed them, and we were lucky enough to get some olive oil from Greece that he brought back with him. Okay, so next it's now engaged 3 minutes, and it's put, for the very first time, you're going to see on the screen, 120 degrees. So we're now going to heat and cook and saute. So let's just start that on speed 1. When you're cooking, I'm hoping you can still hear me over the sound of the Thermomix. I'm going to try to come in a bit closer so you can hear me. When you're cooking, you must always put a time in there. So the guided cooking always has the time. If you're doing manual cooking, however, and you wanted to apply heat, then you want to make sure that you always have a time on there, because that's a safety feature that's going to ensure it applies heat. It will not let you apply heat if you have no time on there. What's going to happen is these beautiful little green lights, once it hits 60 degrees, will change to red. And that signifies that it's now hot, so you don't want to touch the stainless steel bowl. You can touch the handle, the lid, everything else stays cold to touch, even the measuring cup. Just be aware that there might be steam coming out from there. But this stainless steel bowl, for kids in particular, you just teach them when it's red, don't touch. All right, so that's got another minute 57. What I wanted to show you that is if I wanted to access Cookidoo or Scales or anything like that while I'm cooking, I can press my home button and it bookmarks my recipe. So it keeps the step that I'm at. And as I was showing you before, these are all our modes, which they're improving on all the time. They do updates like you do on an iPhone or an Android phone, where you'll get an update, a software update. That happens wirelessly with your Thermomix, and you will sometimes do an update and see new modes appear. So for example, the latest ones were thicken. There's a thicken mode now, and we had a blend mode, but the other modes are, there's your scales. So I can engage my scales. I can put a bowl on top, clear the bowl, weigh in my bowl, and I've got that ready for the next step. I can look at the full recipe while I'm cooking to work out what the next step is as well. We've got a dough mode, so kneading, turbo, pre-clean, fermentation, sous vide, slow cook. There's just so much that I can't fit into this time to let you know exactly what's there. But your consultants can definitely extend and do another one-on-one with you, or another VCE, we're calling them, virtual cooking experience, and go through this in a lot more detail. As well as when they deliver the Thermomix, well, actually the delivery happens straight to your door, but they will do a virtual delivery with you for the time being. They will go through all of that in great detail with you. And what they're going to do is help you to cook one of the very basic ingredients that we use in all our recipes, and that is stock concentrate, vegetable stock concentrate. So I'll be using that throughout through this recipe. It is so much better than bought stock cubes or even stock, liquid stock. 1 tablespoon of that concentrate in a litre of water does 1 litre of stock. Now that's cost me 20 cents to 40 cents for a litre, as opposed to $4 or something like that at the shops when you're buying your stock. So if there's even our owners on here, if you are not making your stock, please make that as one of your things that you take away from here today to make your vegetable stock concentrate. All right, that's now done. And it's steaming up. Oh, you can see the effects of that steam. Ooh, get a facial while I'm at it. That's now sauteed and just softened the onions, the zucchini, and it's released a little bit of that liquid, which is great. It's saying now to add 400 grams of Roma tomatoes. So I've got some beautiful Roma tomatoes here that are quartered, and there's 400 grams. Can I just add, if tomatoes are too expensive, because sometimes they will just go crazy with the prices of tomatoes, a can is fine. You need 2 cans. Just choose a good quality whole Roma tomatoes. This is the Annalisa brand, which I do love, but you can put 2 cans of that rather than fresh tomatoes if you want. So I've got 400. I did measure those before, so it didn't quite, I didn't clear my scales, hence why it's not measuring it properly, but I do know I had 400. We want 300 of water. So this I will measure because I didn't measure it before. Who's loving the scale function, guys? How much time do you feel like you can save from using the scales on here? I tell you what, a recipe that a cake that I used to make that takes 40 minutes just preparing it took me like not even 10 minutes to do in here. Actually, it was 3 minutes. All right, there we go. 300 of water's gone in. We're going to add 200 of whipping cream. And you can change the cream if you don't want to have cream or dairy, then you can definitely change that to, you know, something different. Coconut cream, soy milk, rice milk, almond milk, all of those things you can even make yourself. All right, and then we're going to add our tablespoon, and I put a really nice hefty piece, tablespoon, because I like the flavour, and that's kind of my salt content because it has got quite a bit of salt as the natural preservative in there. So I don't really need to add any extra salt. Okay, this goes on the lid, and we've now got cooking time of 10 minutes on 100 degrees on speed 1. It hasn't engaged my reverse because there's nothing in there that I'm scared to chop further, because this is the sauce and it's going to get pureed in a moment. But this is making the base, and then stay tuned to the next part. We're going to go to Sandy in just a moment, who's going to do Cookidoo for you and go through what the wonderful world of Cookidoo is. But stay tuned, because you're going to see that we're actually going to cook the pasta in its own sauce. There's not many recipes that do that. But this is one where you don't have to have the pasta cooked before and adding it to the sauce. It gets cooked in its own sauce. But it's at that point that the reverse will be engaged, the blunt side of the blade, and the blade will go into reverse, because we need our fettuccine chopped up. We want it nice and long. All right, so I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to cross over to you, Sandy, and you're going to take them through Cookidoo.
Oh, can you? I can't see that.
I can see Zoom.
Yeah, why is that not? Hang on. Why did that not? Let me have another go at that.
Have another go at sharing the screen. Sorry, I've gone off the screen. Hello, I'm still here. I'm just...
there we go.
There we go.
Yep, I think we're all good. Fantastic. And so what was our next little bit of snippet, which I said to you earlier, that we don't keep it up our sleeve, but now you're really thinking, because you can see the savings with making a lot of your own produce in the Thermomix. So we've got 36 months interest free. This offer ends until the 30th of April. And what I want you to really consider is some of the things which Helen spoke about. I know Helen shared some of the, between $20 to $50 a week, what you can actually having that Thermomix in your kitchen. So when I take you through a little bit of an introduction to Cookidoo today, I'd really encourage you to think about the things which might be already in your shopping trolley that you actually think, well, you know what, with a Thermomix, I actually can make them at home because it's quick, it's easy, I can get my family involved, and by doing that, the money which you are normally handing over at the checkout can actually potentially be going back to pay your Thermomix off, and you've got like 36 months interest free of doing that, which is absolutely fantastic. So a couple of little things like the stock there, which Helen mentioned. So I want you to just try to open up your thinking to consider I actually don't need to find a new pocket of money that's going to be paying off my Thermomix every week, every month. You can set up how you do that weekly, fortnightly or monthly with Zip Money. You can actually just think, well, set that actually over to the checkout to actually going off into my Zip Money. So think about some of the things that you would actually like to make in the Thermomix that you don't want to buy anymore, and that's where your savings are. Now your consultant is going to be the best person to side by side with you on virtual on the phone to work out exactly those savings, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how simple those savings can appear. Something simple, even like a cheesy mite scroll. You might even be able to save $5 by making your own, and that's just for 6 of them. And there's just an example of that. And you'll know, feeding your family at home, you probably would go through more than 6 cheesy mite scrolls a week. So that's just to get your head around how you can actually meet that $16.26 a week. So let's go into the world of Cookidoo, and Helen's actually introduced you awesome into Cookidoo and And what Helen also said is that, let me just check the chat to make sure that you can hear me. Awesome, that's good. I just checked the chat because I want to make sure that you can still hear me. So what you can do on your Thermomix on the Cookidoo screen, you can actually do on your laptop like I am today, but you can also do on your phone. The app on your phone is absolutely fantastic, and so you'll really enjoy being able to use that. So that's now logged into my my Cookidoo. Says hello Sandy, so I actually love that. So you can just go straight into hitting the search button, and you might not actually know what you're wanting to do, and you can select from recipes.
Sandy, we're still on the PowerPoint, babe. We haven't gone to your Cookidoo screen. I think when you share, you need to share desktop, and I think that will then allow you to move around.
Hang on,
computer.
Hang on, Helen. Thank you, because last time that worked. Yeah, last time that worked. So let me. Oh no! When we did it last week, it worked. So let's just do that's easy. Let's just do it this way. Sorry, everyone. I saw you pop up there, Helen. So I was hoping that you would. Can you see that now, Helen?
Sure can.
Thanks, awesome. Andy. So 1 week it works, 1 week it doesn't. So you think you're the best prepared. So you might want to type in ingredients. You might want to type in recipes. You could actually just go straight into search because you're in the mood to just see what's out on Cookidoo to see where you could potentially make some savings. So you can select either recipes, which will take you through the whole library of over 50,000 recipes around the world. You might want to look at our collections. Now our collections are a whole library of our beautiful books, which have over 100 recipes in them, to which are around that 10, 12 recipes in a collection. So you could actually have a little decide where you want to search. You might want to search the whole lot. So when so let's pick brunches. I might be thinking, what do I want to, I want to do something for brunch. As soon as I type in there, it's going to give me 413 results, you see, because I've got Australia selected there, and that's sort of automatic sort of set in there that it's Australia because that's the platform for Cookidoo that I joined. If I take that Australia out, it straight away opens it up to 4,071 recipes, which are brunches. Now that you can see there, bunny chow, and we know that's in the beautiful South African book. So that's now opened up my whole worldwide search of the growing libraries that we have around the world with the different language function, and also going into those different countries and regions as well. So when I get my big search images, which I actually spoke to you about, I can decide a little bit more around whether I want to go into all the categories. So if it was a particular ingredient search, I can choose my categories. I've actually already selected brunches, so I don't need to do that one, so close the categories. I might be looking at total time, and Helen actually spoke around some of the great time savings. So we have our total time in preparation time, so we can actually choose preparation time and total time. Also my portion sizes. Now this is where it's of great value for you in doing your research. And please just know that you can join Cookidoo for a 30-day free trial, and this is where you'll really connect the investment of the Thermomix in your kitchen to the usage. So if you've got a large family, you think Thermomix is not going to be able to feed my family, trust me, it will. Or you might be the other end of the scale thinking, it's only 1 or 2 of us home now. Can I really justify that? Yes, you can. You actually can absolutely justify this a lot of time and money by only cooking for a couple of you, because quite often that can be harder than cooking for a family. You can actually go by the recipes that are really rated well, but you also get the opportunity to rate recipes, so that's pretty cool. Select your Thermomix version that you have. I'm going to select English because that's really all that I can read. I would love to think I can read more, but I can't. And straight away there, that's given me 747 results. I can actually go into the regions and show all the countries and regions, etc., if I want to pick, particularly from those regions. So once I see my results, they're my 747 results there. And as Helen shared, I'm just giving you a little snippet today. This is for you to go back and really explore this with your consultant and also with yourself. I've actually made this and it's absolutely delicious. And it's just reminded me how delicious it is bunny chow. So when have a look, Helen showed you through on her screen that you can see that all the great tags and the tips and hints that are there as well. So I might be thinking, yeah, I'm good to go, I'm going to cook today, or I might think, no, I'm actually not sure about that, I'll add to my week. Let's do that on Monday, because I've got family, you know, they're all going to be home that day, so let's save it there for adding. So it's added to my week. So there's your weekly planner. Already starting to add my weekly planner. I might need to add a shopping list because I'm not sure what I've got in my pantry, and also I might need to send it to my husband, who needs to do the shopping for me. So once I've done my menu planning, I go into my week. And there were some other things that we had a bit of fun menu planning. So you can see these are some of the things I've menu planned for the week. And there was one there I wanted to take out. I could absolutely take out. And then I can show the ingredients, which is what I need for my shopping list. Now this usually has a little bit of a lag time. There we go. Something which might be important to you is that you might not like to shop by category. You might want to shop by recipe. You'll know which way you like to have that visibility of seeing your shopping list. And this is where the magic also happens, is that I can edit. So I might think, no, I've got an onion, so let's take the onion out. I've got garlic, so let's take the garlic out. And you know what? I'm going to be really adventurous, because what I'm actually going to get my hubby to do is I can add items as well. So I'm going to say, have a go and see if you can get me some toilet paper. So let's add some toilet paper to the shopping list as well. So so I've created my things, I've added and taken out and added in what I want to, and then I can just, that in the sharing is where I copy that list and send it to the person who's doing the shopping. I might be doing the shopping, so I can send that to my phone, etc. So there's a little snippet. Are we all good to go? Are we, Helen? We are. Let's go.
Sorry, I thought I'd lean across and take the mute off. Thanks so much, Sandy. I added just a tad of time there, but I can go back down now and stop it. It's all good. The reason I added just a tad of time is because I'm actually using fresh fettuccine today. I didn't make it myself. I'm really sorry, but I can if I wanted to. But the reason I've chosen fresh is because it's going to cook a lot faster. And I know we're in this virtual world. You don't need to sit here for another 10 minutes of cooking time. And fresh pasta is really, really simple. It's literally just your flour, eggs, and water, and you've got yourself pasta. You just need one of those pasta machine makers, which is a great investment too, just to make your pasta if you want to. Lasagna, on the other hand, you don't need any machines. You can literally just roll with a rolling pin till you get to the shape of your dish and you've got lasagna sheets. All right, so I added a little bit of time because if that's only going to cook for 2 minutes rather than another 10 minutes, I wanted the sauce to get a little bit more cooking time. All right, so next it's going to say, oops, I think we've missed, I am pretty sure I've missed a step somewhere. Because I need to, can I just check I'm just gonna, no, sorry, go back to, let me show you how you can get to the full details of the recipe. See those 3 little dots? You go to recipe detail, and then you go and have a look. I just want to check that I didn't actually miss a step. Add the Roma tomatoes, water, cream, and vegetable. And then it says add dried fettuccine. All right, what I'm going to do is add a step there, because I'll tell you why. And this is all good because it means I can show you how I tweak my recipes. It's quite chunky. And I don't like my sauce chunky. I like my sauce nice and smooth. So I'm going to chuck in a step here, because I don't know if you can see. I'm trying to show you without it tipping over. You can just see the edges. The tomatoes haven't broken down, whereas if I'd had a can of tomatoes, it probably would have. But what I actually want to do is blend that so that it's a really nice, a bit not as chunky sauce, because I'm a real texture freak. I don't like it. So I am now going to go to home. It's going to bookmark my recipe, and I'm going to go up to about speed 4 to 5 to start with, just to let it go because it's hot, keep in mind. And then we'll go up slowly And I'm just going to go to speed 5.
And Helen, you could use your blending mode as well.
Yeah, you could have actually, because there's actually a mode in there, and if I press blend, it would have actually done this automatically, gone slow and then fast, rather than me do it. That's much better. Okay, so now it's more like a sauce for me without the big chunks of tomato. I don't think you can see it, but maybe my husband could possibly lift it. Oh, can you see that, guys? I think you can see it's soupy, saucy, with no big chunks of tomato in there. All right, now I'm ready to go back to my bookmark and go next. And now I want anywhere between 250 to 300. It says dried fettuccine. This recipe is working with dried, but as I said, for timing, we're going to put some beautiful fresh. It's actually tagliatelle too. I'm really mucking around with the recipe today, aren't I, guys? You got to go with what you can find at the shops, right? And we can't be fussy these days. So that's all good with me. I'm going to add some beautiful salami cacciatore. You could use chorizo instead if you want to. And that's just been sliced into little half moons in there. And it says to mix well until our pasta is completely submerged with the sauce. Now, if you had the dry fettuccine, then you would break it in half, and then you, with your spatula, you would push it in so that it's submerged into that sauce. So next, it says insert measuring cup, and it's got another 7 minutes cooking. I'm going to bring that down to 2 minutes because that's how long this pasta takes to cook, and the cacciatore sausage is already cooked anyway, or what do they call it, cured, I think. So it's fine. It doesn't need a lot of cooking. You could add some olives in there too, some pieces of sun-dried tomato. You can add whatever you like. It's on reverse. So I'm going to now go speed soft because it's literally just going to stir, and I've got it there for 2 minutes. All right. So while that 2 minutes is going, if I go back here to the home just to show you the modes, that was the blend that Sandy was referring to before. I can't engage those modes while I'm cooking, so I can't show you what it does. But when you do click it, I'll just show you what happens. It says you have to stop the Thermomix to engage it, but it gives you a little bit of information on what that mode is, tells you how to use it. And then you can progress and use it. In actual fact, on our Thermomix YouTube channel, there are some function videos that take you through each one of those modes in a bit more detail. The pre-clean is a kind of a new addition to the TM6 that I absolutely love, because when you're finished and you've got a mucky bowl, you'd use this pre-clean function. It takes only a couple of minutes to do. And while I'm cleaning up my bench and area, I'll put a little bit of water with a drop of detergent, engage the pre-clean mode, and it will do a really nice clean for me, so that when I take it to the sink, it's going to be much easier for me to now clean the bowl over there. As I don't think I mentioned at the beginning, I was talking about my red t-shirt. I don't know if everybody caught that conversation. Because I've been with Thermomix for 13 years, I've made it a mission. I've collected many, many t-shirts over the years because we have travel conferences every year that you can qualify to go to for free. And I've managed to go to pretty much all of them. And this one was, I can't remember if this was from Vietnam. It was Vietnam. So if you see on the back, we've got kind of our logo, our branch logo on the back. So this is Vietnam, which was last year's. And last week's I wore the Thermomix's 6 year when we launched our new model Thermomix. And the week before I wore my professional black Thermomix top. But next week, when I do another one of these, I'm going to have a different top. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. It'll be from a different part of the globe. So we can go traveling even through this screen. Even though we can't get on a plane and actually go there, we can revisit, right? So that's done now, guys. I'm going to go to next. Basically, this is ready to serve. This is awesome. I actually quite like the fresh pasta, I've got to tell you. I'm going to pour it into this dish, into our amazing thermo server. And keep in mind, if you wanted, this does need to sit for about 5 minutes before you serve it up to absorb a little bit more of that sauce. But if you wanted it al dente, you cook it less. If you wanted it, softer, if you're Greeks don't do al dente. You might want to cook it a little bit more. Totally up to you. I'm going to use my spatula to pour onto so it doesn't splatter everywhere. And you'll see it's really lovely and saucy. And I've got my fettuccine, and I'm just going to go clockwise and get the remainder of that, or tagliatelle, remember, fettuccine we'll call it today, into the bowl. That's it. So everything's out of there. And that is my beautiful, let's see if you can see that. I'm going to get my husband to, oh, actually, you know, because you don't need to see the screen anymore. Can you all see the little screen with my phone? Can you see that? Sandy,
Yeah,
can you see?
yeah, it looks good, Helen. Yep.
Great. Awesome. So that is the creamy salami and fettuccine dish, which we did a main dish and a salad with me talking lots and lots in between in less than an hour. And if I was to actually do that from start to finish, it would probably take me 30 to 40 minutes in total without the talking in between. And you can sprinkle some Parmesan cheese, that beautiful, freshly grated Parmesan cheese as well. Okay, so at this point in time, are there any questions for me? You can pop them in the chat box and I'll see if I can answer. What we're going to do is, for those of you that might be interested in finding out a little bit more about the business opportunity, I know a lot of people are at home now and looking for things to do. If you love the Thermomix, if you've already got a TM6, it's easy. You can just start, we train you up and you can start doing some of these virtual cooking experiences and share the love and passion of Thermomix to others. But if you want to earn your Thermomix, like Sandy had mentioned before, then there's ways to do that as well. So we thought for those of you that feel like you want to stay on for another 20 minutes, we can go through a little bit of what the business opportunity is. So yeah, we can take like a 5-minute break while people depart, and then we can continue on with a bit of business information session. But before we do that, have a think about what other things you'd like to see in the Thermomix. Make sure you reach back out to your consultant, let them know what you thought of this. If you had any questions, think of what you would make when you have a Thermomix in your kitchen. And if you want to see that first, then, you know, reach out. Your consultants are really happy to help. They're all learning and trying to get into this space as best they can as well at the moment. So bear with us all while we try to get used to this. But if you want to host, you still can get host rewards. There's still access to host rewards. It just means that you invite 2 other people to one of these sorts of things. It could be your own virtual, very nice, cozy, you and 2 others, and you get access to host rewards too. So talk to your consultants about that. So are there any questions, Sandy, before we...
No, the consultants have been managing the chat box just absolutely beautifully today, Helen. So what do we log off for 5 minutes, or we'll stay on, and if anyone wants to come back in 5 minutes?
Yeah, we'll just stay on and I'll just mute and maybe allow people to drop off if they want to. And those that want to stay, just hang around and we'll come back in another couple of minutes.
I'll just stop the record.
Thanks so much for joining me, everyone.